Welcome everyone to the PJScast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good pal Dylan. So, less than 2 weeks until the draft, and I thought the NHL season was going to end yesterday. I thought I was going to end with a sweep, but Edmonton Oilers have pushed it to a game 5 after dropping the first 3 games. What have your thoughts been on the final so far?
Before last game, I thought Edmonton was severely outclassed. I think they still are.
Mm-hmm.
They're losing 5,
Yeah,
but I don't know. Florida's did like we talked about it many times. This is the year Florida had to win because their team's going to look completely different next year, and they're playing like it. They've used the same 18 skaters 7 games in a row. Might change next game, but I feel like that just speaks volumes to how much Paul Maurice trusts his guys right now. Bobrovsky looked almost unstoppable till last night. Everyone's got a bad night, but they're just flat out dominant right now. There's no other way to really put it. Just doing everything it takes to win this series. You could tell that they didn't want to have another situation like last year where they just get punched in the mouth for 5 games. They're the ones and they're not even really punching Edmonton in the mouth. It's more just they're winning a chess match.
they're just flat out outclassing them. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's credit to Maurice. That's credit to, the whole organization just for how they built this roster up. I mean, it's not like Kachuk's being a world beater like he was last year. It's not. I mean, Barkov, in my opinion, is being one, but that in a different way than most people would anticipate. Like everyone wants to talk about McDavid and all the points he's putting up, but what Barkov's doing specifically in his 2-way game, I think, is some of the best we've seen in a playoff run in recent memory. And if he doesn't get the Conn Smythe, I think that's a joke, honestly, if they win the Cup. Yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents on it. And from Edmonton's point of view, the bus starts and stops with McDavid and Draisaitl, and when they have 1 goal combined through 4 games, you can't. It's very hard to point fingers at anyone else. I think Draisaitl got his first point last game in the series.
Yeah, he's been kind of a ghost this series. Yeah,
it's not okay. You can't be relying on Matthias Janmark and Dylan Holloway to be potting goals for you. And it's not like they're not getting chances. I mean, I feel like they're getting more power plays than most teams would in a cup final. It's just, I don't know, man. It's not clicking, clearly. And, there's been times this series where Bouchard has looked out of place. Like, he can't.
Oh, that pizza he had to, I'm pretty sure it was Evan Rodriguez. Oh, my own. Yeah, looking like Cody Ceci out there or Darnell Nurse.
Not even that. It's the stuff after the whistle. Like they're in his head so bad this series.
Yeah, it got choked up by Aaron Ekblad. Yeah,
you can't let that happen if you're him. But I mean that's where I feel about this series. I don't know about you, but I mean,
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm not surprised that Florida is winning, but I'm just surprised by how lack of a pushback there kind of has been for Edmonton. Yeah, they won 8-1 last night, and they made it close on in game 3, but too little, too late. And then game 1, yeah, they played well enough. I mean, that's a game where Bobrovsky did steal it. Like the Panthers, everyone could say that. The Panthers would tell you that, but game 2, I felt is where that was a game they almost needed to win, and just the offense completely shriveling up. Even if you include game 6 of the conference final against the Dallas Stars, they only had 2 from that game, and they got shut out 3. They had 3 goals in 3 games there, and then in the game 3, finally the offense shows up, but it's too little, too late because Florida already did the damage when they scored 3 goals in 6 minutes. And yeah, you scored 8 goals last night. You doubled your goal output in 1 game over what you did in the first 3 games, but it's not enough. And again, I'm not surprised Florida is winning, and I think they're gonna win it on home ice, but I'm just surprised by the lack of pushback by the Oilers. It's just, but you never know with the Cup final. It's so hard to get back to the Cup finals, and I think that's really credit to what Florida has done. It's so hard to make it back to in back-to-back years, especially. You just wonder with the Oilers, when's there going to be a chance for them to make it back again? And you don't want to make a premature obituary here because the series still isn't over, but I'd be very shocked if we're back here for Edmonton in Game 6. I think it's done on Tuesday night.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the stat where it's like the Oilers have lost 3 straight, 3 times under Knobloch, and each time they've gone on a substantial win streak afterwards. But I don't know. This is a little different, I think. Knobloch's still trying to find the line combinations he's comfortable with. In Game 5, and Florida hasn't winked. Florida hasn't fucking flinched whatsoever. And they're getting depth scoring from guys that, like, their leading goal scorers are Evan Rodriguez and Vladimir Tarasenko, both who are playing middle to bottom 6 minutes on the team. It's very impressive what they've been able to accomplish. And there were a couple injury scares last night. It's going to be really interesting to see who's playing through what, because there's definitely some severe injuries on both
sides. Yeah.
But if I'm the Oilers, like you look at last game's film. It's a miracle what happens when you drive the front of the net and you don't be a perimeter offense, which is all they've done the first 4 games of the series. Up until Game 4. Game 4, they started to get and even then, it's I don't know. I have a very hard time seeing them winning another 3 games in a row. And if they do, McDavid's gonna solidify his legacy. But I don't know. Florida wants it more, flat out.
100%. And yeah, you can pull up all the stats of, well, these are the teams that have come back from 3-0 down. And I'm pretty sure it's only been done once where a team has come back from 3-0 down in the Cup final, and that was during World War II. So it's been a little while. I just think the odds of them are coming back are low. But that being said, I'm disappointed with how the series has gone. Like if they can be forced to a Game 6, like one more game in Edmonton, that'd be cool. But yeah, I still think Florida closes it out on home ice. They haven't won yet, but shout out to the Florida Panthers. Shout out to their fans. Like, I think Mark Lazarus put a tweet out. He was like, it's crazy that the Florida Panthers are only 1 win away from the Stanley Cup final, considering all that franchise has gone through. They were really, for the longest time, I would even say up until only a few years ago, just the big butt end of the joke in the league. Yeah, they had their cup run in 96, but then I think they had like a 10+ year playoff drought, and I'm pretty sure they're the origin of the meme of, oh, I'm at the game, no one is here. Like they could never sell at the arena recently until the last few years, and kind of just mired in mediocrity. And like in the 2010s, they weren't necessarily horrible, though I think they did pick like first overall, and then they got second overall with Barkov. So yeah, but like they made the playoffs in 2016, and then there were kind of those years with the computer boys is what they called it, where they just had so many switchovers in management where they were never necessarily bad, but they just made so many dumb decisions that prevented them from, to get to be an elite team where they are right now. And I just think when they got rid of Riley Smith and Jonathan Marchessault to protect Alex Petrovic, you're just thinking, what the fuck are these guys doing? Like there's a foundation there, but they don't have the help around them. And I feel where everything changes when Bill Zito came in. I think he got hired in 2020. All the big trades he's made, all the big ballsy moves he's made, even some of the free agent signings he's made, getting Carter Verhaeghe, signing Evan Rodriguez last year, and then obviously the trades, you can go through them all, getting Matthew Tkachuk after and trading your like a guy who's been on your team for 10+ years, and then a top 2 defenseman for Matthew Tkachuk. I mean, it doesn't get more better than that. How that's worked out for them, getting Sam Reinhart from Buffalo, trading one of your good goalie prospects because you already got 2 goalies there to help you out, getting Sam Bennett for pretty cheap. I don't think they gave up too much. I think they gave up like a second and a mid-level prospect, and then what's the other one I'm missing? Brandon Montour. I think they got him for cheap too. Like they had the core, like they had their guy. Barkov and Ekblad have been there all along, but then they've just filled it out with guys that can play mean, but not play mean for the sake of just doing that. Like they're very skilled offensively. Looking at Tkachuk and Bennett, and they've taken some steps. Like I think they lost to Tampa 2 years in a row in the playoffs, won the President's Trophy, and they lost their head coach, Joel Quenneville. They still won the President's Trophy. Like they've gone through all these coaching changes too. Like Andrew Burnett was there, and then they took Paul Maurice to take over. Like I was completely unsure that was going to work. They were so close to being down or losing that series to Boston and just kind of being a footnote in what was a great season for the Bruins. And then they go all the way to the Cup final, and then now here they are again. Like it's really incredible how they've turned it around so quickly. And I think a lot of that has to do with Bill Zito right at the top.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that as well. They kind of built this team from all over the place. It's a healthy balance of free agent acquisitions, draft and development, and just finding the right trade at the right time. Like you said, the Reinhart trade, the Montour trade, signing Rodriguez to a 3-year deal.
They still have another couple of years. That's crazy.
Losing Jonathan Marchessault, but then replacing him with Carter Verhaeghe. Like it's
true. Yeah.
It's impressive what they've done for sure. And credit to the GM who probably will never has he won GM in the year? I don't think he has.
No, because Jim Nill has won it back-to-back years now, and then Lou Lamoriello back-to-back years.
That's worked out so fucking well for both. You know what both those guys have in common? Western Conference Finals exit.
They're a bunch of losers, and they have no skill. Yeah.
But yeah, it's impressive top to bottom, and it really is a tale of two ways to set up your hockey team, because you look at Edmonton and they have the same problem they had 6 years ago, which is lack of depth on offense and defense and a question mark in net. And I feel like we've been saying that about them as long as this podcast has been going. As long as we've known each other.
Yeah. Who's been the GM that entire time, pretty much?
Ken Hall. And they were kissing his feet like 2 weeks ago, not even. It's crazy. But yeah, remember, he doesn't – whatever. It's ridiculous. And then they'll go around and say that they tried and they didn't really try. It's like if you tried, you'd be like Vegas. If you tried, you'd be like Florida. If you tried, you'd be like Tampa. And the proof is in the pudding. Hell, even like a Colorado this year, at least they swung. You know what I mean? They swung to try to get more depth in their lineup. Obviously, it didn't work, but I can't say
damn
that
it, they tried. Yeah, you can't fault them for that.
The only time they've done it is to get Ekholm, and clearly that's one of the only trades that has actually worked out for them. I don't know, man. It's like the Rangers, dude. Like you got to shit or get off the pot at some point, because now it's going to get to the point where if you don't win this series, this is where the shitstorm begins. Because Draisaitl's up for an extension, he could very easily walk you to free agency if he wants to. If he's fed up with this shit, I don't think he will, but. These are the conversations that are going to have to be had internally. The year after McDavid's up, like this is crunch time now. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it brings back the broader discussion of like, is it really that hard to win a Stanley Cup? Like, yes, it is, but GMs just make it like probably make it harder than what it should be. If you got the prospects, go for it. We talked about how Florida has kind of constructed their team like. They've got a pretty good mix of drafting. Barkov and Ekblad, I think, are the big ones for drafting. Anton Lundell has been another draft pick for them. But then, if those draft picks aren't in your lineup and not being a key contributor or aren't going to be anytime soon, then trade them for players that are going to help you right now. Again, Devin Levi for Sam Reinhart. I don't even think they traded like any high-end prospects for like Sam Bennett, and obviously you traded Huberdeau and Uyghur for Kachuk, but yeah, and especially Vegas last year, they might be the ultimate example of like just trading again. Like those prospects aren't going to be on your team anytime soon. Like trade them while their value is still high and get these superstar players. And Edmonton, I've said this a few times already. I still think they're going to lose this, but if they lose this, I still think if Ken Holland finally retires and leaves, that's the best thing that could happen to them is get a new set of eyes on this team, get better depth. Like I have no idea what the hell you do with Darnell Nurse, but
worst contract.
It won't be a fun time. Sorry,
worst contract in the NHL.
Yeah. We brought it up, but Seth Jones ruined the market for contract for defensemen. But man, it's night and day difference between those two.
Yeah, It's like those two. It's insane. I don't know. He got that contract of a 56 game season. I don't think that gets talked about enough.
No.
It's terrible. But then you bridge Bouchard. So, you know, like, because bridging's worked out so well for any team in the past. I think I can only think of one bridge in recent memory where the player is stuck with the team after the bridge. And that's Braden Point. That's it.
I was gonna say I think Tampa's had a couple because Kucherov was bridged. I'm pretty sure, but
Kucherov wasn't fucking world beaters yet. He was like really good, but I don't know. It's ridiculous, honestly.
Well, the site is still available to us. I want to take a look at the Edmonton Oilers cap friendly. So, yeah, they already got the contracts in for next year. Connor McDavid has 2 years left. Leon Draisaitl has 1 year left. Will be eligible to sign an extension come July 1st. Zach Hyman, 4 years left. I mean, he's been a ghost this series. Makes me wonder if he's maybe playing through an injury, but still a 50-goal scorer. I think he has 14 goals these playoffs. Like, it's still one of the better free agent signings of the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Vander Kane, he's injured as well. Ryan Nugent-Hop. They have bunch of UFAs, and then I look at that goddamn defense, man. Darnell Nurse has 6 years left at 9.25. And then Evan Bouchard only has 1 more year left after this, and he's arbitration eligible. So, I mean, Oilers could technically re-sign Bouchard to an extension come July 1st, but how the hell do you do that when you don't have any money? Oh, and Jack Campbell still 2 years left at 5.5, and then Cody Ceci has 1 more year at least. Like,
dude, a Nurse is 29. Like, what? Oh, jeez. And that doesn't even bring into consideration that they only have 7 forwards under contract as of next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Holloway extension is going to be a couple bucks. I don't know if they're keeping Fogle, but I can't imagine that's going to be cheap with how he's performed. Good luck. It's not my problem. Oh, also Vander Kane is a full no move.
Yep. All their top guys do. Like, obviously McDavid and Draisaitl, Hyman does as well, and then so does the Nuge. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then Darnell Nurse also has no move clause. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know. You got any closing thoughts on the Cup final? I'm not disappointed like the Oilers are losing necessarily. I'm just disappointed like we haven't like McDavid did have his night last night, but it's kind of sucks we haven't seen more of
too late
of an evening series. Yeah, exactly.
Like Ben's being very adamant about McDavid should win the Conn Smythe regardless, and I just don't agree with that personally.
No, me neither.
If he was been a force every game this Cup final, yeah, I would have agreed. First 3 games, he was a ghost. How is Connor McDavid a ghost? Literally last night, was it last night or 2 nights ago? 2 nights ago, you could literally see McDavid being like, oh, I forgot I'm the fastest guy on the ice. Let me try this real quick. Like, sometimes I just feel like he needs to remember that he's better than everyone and just take that 1-on-3. Don't freaking skate around the perimeter in circles, which they've been doing all series. It's frustrating, dude. It's extremely frustrating.
Yeah, to show you like how he hasn't like because of those 3 games, I still feel it isn't being talked about enough about how he just casually broke Gretzky's record for most assists in one postseason. Like you take out his 6 goals that he has, like 32 assists alone would be, high up on some of the best point totals in postseasons over the past since the lockout.
I hate being a hater, but gives a fuck. Gives a fuck. Win the Cup. And I promise you, McDavid doesn't
and lift it up.
Either. Yeah,
no.
I promise you. If they give him the Conn Smythe, he's not even going to accept that shit.
It's going to be that picture of him with the couple in the airport, except he's going to be a lot more pissed and he's holding the Conn Smythe. Do you remember? Well, have you seen the video of J.S. Shiger holding the Conn Smythe after Anaheim lost?
Yep.
He just looked like he wanted to die right there. He was crying. Yeah,
it's fucking stupid. No. And don't get me wrong, if they you got to take this one game at a time. But if they do complete this comeback, yeah, freaking first, like unanimous, but it's they're simply on the brink of elimination, and I don't care if he's got 6 points in 3 games this series. It's on him. You have to score goals. Getting secondary assists is not good enough.
A lot of it's timing too. Like a lot of the points can be empty calories, and I always think of the Blackhawks. Obviously, like Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews were always point per game in the playoffs. Like they always produce, but they didn't. Well, I guess Jonathan Toews in 2010, but they never had they had 30 points in 20 game stretch. But what matters is they always showed up when it mattered. I think of the 2015 Stanley Cup final, like Toews and Kane were pretty much held in check. Like they weren't bad, but I think they were just playing a good Tampa team. But we forget about it because Patrick Kane scored the goal to make it 2-0.
I wouldn't even go that far. I'd say game 4, 5, and 6 they showed up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like they were 2 points per game.
Oh, 100%. They thought the Saad Taves Kane line would work the first 3 games, and it got shut down flat out. And then they flipped the lines. I think it was Sharp Taves Hossa and Saad Richards Kane, and that's what got the offense going. Like Brandon Saad got both of those goals game 3 and 4 because he was glued to Patrick Kane. It's like that's just what it is. I can't say the same for what did I say immediately about the series? You're not winning a series where Draisaitl has 1 point in 4 games.
Nope.
Period. There's no discussion on that. And it's not even getting talked about, dude. The most relevant thing he did was probably should have got suspended in game 1.
Yeah. Oh, that was so why.
And don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Sean McDonough literally glazed the refs at the beginning of the game, and I almost lost my shit. Because this has been a well-ref series. No, the fuck it hasn't, dude. No, it hasn't. Darnell Nurse should have been kicked out of the game last night for that neon Sam Bennett. It's ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. And that's what I mean by the Oilers have no excuse. They're literally getting fucking prayers from the refs. Florida should have the fact that Florida should have had 3 5-minute power plays in this series, and they have 1. Speaks volumes, dude. Speaks volumes. You're getting the help from the Zebras. Literally, you can listen to the commentary group. They want the fact that an American commentating group wants Canada to win is fucking insane. They will not talk about Florida. They won't. They refuse to. Florida could be up 3-0, and they're talking about, how can the Oilers come back from this? Dog, I don't have any sympathy for this.
That's a whole other issue. The fucking how is Sean McDonough that number 1 guy?
It's terrible. It's fucking terrible.
Sean McDonough is terrible.
It's fucking terrible. I don't care if I'm a hater. He's so bad, dude. He's making.
No, he is horrible.
How do you get the casual fan in the hockey when your announcer fucking sucks? God. And then your B team announcer is light years better. Your C team announcer is light years better. Ugh, it's pathetic.
I saw the tweet of here's Sean McDonough announcing a goal in game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And they score. And then I think it was a clip from the 2018 Cup Finals of the Caps and the Golden Knights where it's just this mad scramble and Doc is going crazy and he's like, they score. That's the kind of energy you need in a Stanley Cup final with a goal like that.
It's pathetic, honestly.
But it should be Bob Wishigen or literally anyone else. But yeah,
it's okay. It's all right. Next year it's TNT. That means it's Kenny Albert and Eddie Olczyk, light years better.
What do you think of Kenny Albert? I don't mind.
I like Kenny Albert. I don't get why people hate him. There are so many worse announcers out there, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's not. You know what he is? He's B+. He's a B+ announcer, and that's fucking fine in most cases. And he actually knows how to amp up the excitement in a series. I can name countless Blackhawk calls that dude has called in the playoffs that are actually good. It's pathetic, dude.
Not even the Blackhawks. I remember him calling the Bautista home run, deep left field, no doubt. That gives me chills every time. Yeah.
He's one of the most diverse announcers in the game, and they want Sean McDonough to be that, and he's just not. Just let Sean McDonough commentate college football. That's what he's good at. I don't get this obsession with wanting people to do multiple sports. Just put the guy who's the best. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because it's always kind of been split from what I've seen with Kenny Albert. Like, I don't mind. I don't think he's the best, but I think he's pretty good. Anyways,
People don't like that he replaced Doc.
It's kind of like what the Blackhawks. Well, Chris Foster's is worse, but I mean, it's so hard to replace a legend like Pat Foley, who was there for so long, and then Doc Emmerich, who's voices over a lot of our childhoods. I mean, we're so freaking lucky because we've gone from we went from Bob Cole, Jim Houston. He's kind of the same with Kenny Albert, where I wouldn't say he's bland, but like he's not like super, but he knows when to he knows when to amp it up when there is a great moment. And now we got Chris Cuthbert, who I've always liked. So anyway, any more thoughts on the Cup final, or we can move on to our next topic here?
No, I'm done talking about the Cup final.
All right.
Don't let my negativity discourage you. This has been a very entertaining Cup final from a defensive perspective. It's just I can't help but be disappointed with the Oilers right now.
I am mainly disappointed in the Oilers, and that's full credit to the Panthers. Like,
yep.
Sergei Bobrovsky,
the best team in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
No denying it. And it's funny because sorry.
I was gonna say Sergei Bobrovsky, like, he should be in the Hall of Fame if he wins the Cup.
Oh,
if
he was already a Hall of Famer, certified.
Yeah,
certified with the Cup. 2 Vezinas, Stanley Cup. Pretty sure he's got a bronze medal with Russia, if I recall correctly, or something.
Maybe,
no, not bronze. Sure. Not bronze. He's got something with Russia. I just can't think of it off the top of my head, but he's certified.
Certified.
5 goalie of a generation. Yeah. Checks out.
He's not going to win the Conn Smythe, but I saw it was like a very small list of goalies that have won multiple Vezinas, a Conn Smythe, and like pretty much all of them are in the Hall of Fame except Tim Thomas. But I think that's a lot of politics. So on to our next topic here. We're kind of talk about like trade, like who's to be available for trade, because again, it's that time of the off season. We're not quite at the draft yet. We're getting there. We're almost there, but it's a lot of rumblings right now. And I want to talk about Patrick Laine being available for trade. Just from the Blackhawks end of things, goal scorer, 2 years left at 8.7. They can take on his cap. Like, I don't know if they can get him for cheap. Like, Don Waddell is the new general manager in Columbus. He looks at Patrick Laine, as agent said he requested trade. He's like, okay, this wasn't my guy. We'll try to accommodate him, get out here, even if we don't get him for full value. I think that's a great target for the Blackhawks. Like, put him on your second line, put him on the power play, let him play with potentially Frank Nazar or Taylor Hall or both. And I think that'd be a great for the Hawks, just to see where he's at.
Yeah, I can't help but just he's going to Carolina. And like I don't think Waddell's going to trade with his old team, but like it makes too much sense to do some kind of line.
Oh, he'd be perfect in Carolina.
And they have the talent to trade for it. Like they want to trade Natchez for star talent. What better star talent than Patrick Laine? Laine's a tricky one, man. He's making 8.7 mil, and the teams that would want him don't have the money for him.
Yeah,
the people that have the money for him, I don't know if they want him. Like, I don't know what Columbus is looking for in return for this. Do they want roster pieces? Do they want draft picks? Like, I don't know they're playing with this. But I don't know. I would think Patrick Laine would want to go to a contender, and I think a contender would want him. I just don't know how the money works in that situation, and I don't think Columbus wants to retain. So, because obviously teams like I think like a Chicago or a Utah or San Jose, I think they all make sense for Laine just because they have the cap space and like and celebrating
too.
Yeah, celebrating needs a winger to play with, like sort of Bedard. Nice. But I don't know how it makes sense from Columbus's perspective. It really just depends on what Waddell wants. And that I don't know. I really don't know. And honestly, like Patrick Laine just seems like it's somehow like Vegas is going to get a hold of him, and it's going to make no sense.
Oh no, we can't re-sign Marchessault. Aw, shucks. Should have to get Patrick Laine instead.
Yep. Or like, I think this one would be a lot of fun. I don't know how the cap would work, but like I know Washington's always fishing around for big pieces. Put Line in with Ovechkin after all those years of comparisons.
Yeah.
And like the Caps need like prime blood. They don't need young blood. They don't need old blood. They need people who are just getting into the prime. And that's exactly what Line is. And they have like 16 million cap roughly, so they could afford it. And they have pieces to give Columbus, but it's in division too. So I think of like a Western Conference team, and that's why I feel like the bottom teams actually make sense. You know what? I'm throwing another one out there. Seattle. Seattle's always looking for high-end talent. They have
Beniers and Line. Damn, yeah.
You have your power play, your right circle's Line, your left circle's McCann, and then you have Dunn at the point. Go crazy. There's definitely options out there for him, and he's going to have a market. There's not a doubt in my mind.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate for Patrick Laine because I know he was dealing with some mental health issues, and hopefully he's gotten that fixed or is at a better point in his life. Yeah, just the hype that was around him coming into that 2016 draft, like there were discussion of maybe Toronto picks Patrick Laine first overall. I don't know if he was ever on the level of Austin Matthews, but his first three seasons. He scored at least 30 goals. First season, he had 36 goals. Second season, 44 goals. That was the year the Jets went to the conference final. Even 2018-19, 30 goals, 82 games. And had the season not stopped during the COVID, he would have hit 30 goals again. So, because he had 28 goals in 68 games. Like, he was doing so well his first few years, and he was so young. Like, he stepped in as an 18-year-old and like he could have, like, if he kept doing that, he could be on a pretty good pace right now. But then wanted out in Winnipeg, got traded to Columbus, and still not horrible. Like, he isn't scoring as much goals as he used to. Like that 2021 shortened year, I think for a lot of players, you can just give them a mulligan for that. Because in 46 games, you only had 24 points. But then 2021-22, 56 points in 56 games, 26 goals, still not bad. Like over 82 game season, that's like 35 plus goals right there in point per game. And then last year, 22-23, 52 points in 55 games, like still around a point per game. You would think of him being a potential 50 goal scorer, but he's still producing offense. And then last year, again, like there's clearly he had some issues you had to deal with. 9 points in 18 games, but 6 goals. There's clearly something there. And for the Blackhawks, you need goal scoring, you need wingers. Like, I don't know if Line is particularly going to play with Bedard, but you put him on your team. Like, if Columbus is just like, oh, okay, we want to get rid of him, we don't want to retain any salary, like we'll take draft picks. Like, Chicago can do that. No problem.
I think there's a world where if Columbus wants to go big game hunting, the Hawks can take like Merzlikins off their hands. I think that would make some sense. I know they want to move him. You want to talk helping out a team salary-wise, you take Merzlikins and Line on. I don't think that's what Davidson will want to do, but, I mean, if that's what it takes to get a Patrick Line in the system, I don't know. I would consider it initially. Because I think there's still a good goalie in Merzlikins somewhere. And, like, who better to start a recollection project with than the Hawks, who have basically fixed Peter Mrazek over the course of 24 months. I think it could be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Patrick Laine, 2 years left, so that fits in with what the Blackhawks are doing with their contract situation. Merzlikins, 3 years left, but it's only like it's not like you're taking on a 5-6 year contract. It's only one more year beyond like what your goal is of keeping all these contracts to. Like, you can work with that, I think. Mm-hmm. Merzlikins does have a modified no trade clause, but so a 10-team no trade list. So I bet Chicago would be on. Like, there's something to be worked there, I would think.
Did he forget to put the Hawks on his no team list like Taylor Hall? Yeah, we'll see.
So yeah, that's it for Patrick Laine. This is mainly from a Pierre LeBrun article where he said, "Oh, Patrick Laine wants a a new start. And then I was reading the article even more, and apparently the Blackhawks, like, it's no surprise the Blackhawks are looking for forward help. Like, no duh, they obviously need it. But apparently they were taking a look at Valeri Nichushkin, which is interesting. I don't even know if they were looking at him so much as if it was a rumor, but that's interesting, especially with given just looking from the player end of things, his contract, but then also the stuff he's kind of had to deal with off the ice. So it is good to know that they are looking, but if you don't do anything, then what's all the noise for? Like, you got to do something.
I mean, it's early. It's mid-June. I'll give him some. He's got 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. There's
these are the 3 weeks that matter. Let's just put it that way. I know they want a top 6 in the middle 6 forward. I think they need a defenseman and a goalie as well, at minimum. Yeah. The level of which you get those is up to the eyes of the beholder, I guess. But it's make or break time, because you can't have a pissed off Bedard going into his initial contract. I don't like that world if that becomes a reality.
Yeah, there could be an angle where they don't get anything getting one for Bedard, and it's like you almost got Jack Eichel over again. You don't want that to happen at all.
Yep.
Just a disgruntled superstar. Like, when it comes the moment July 21st, 2025 hits, like, you're like, okay, what do you want? You got it. That will put that on the check, and that's your contract. Like, there's no like, yeah, I don't think so. No, it's you give him all he wants. You want to take a look at, or let's go through some of the top trade targets that Daily Faceoff has. I bet you can't guess who's the number one. And we've never talked about him on the show.
Jacob Markstrom. I don't know. Probably Natchez.
No, it's Mitch Marner.
He's not getting traded.
Nah.
I think both sides of that are petty enough to where he'll walk to free agency. I'm so sorry.
Oh, 100%. And like, his agents, like, even if you don't think that Mitch, like 100% his agency is, and like he's the one who hires his agent. So yeah, he is. He's 100%.
Yep. And I don't even want to entertain that until it becomes a reality. Because the reality is he needs to waive his no move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny listening to the Dangle podcast about that, and Steve's just like, I don't want to go through another year of this. Like, I totally get it, but then are you also going to lose Mitch Martin? Like, they're in a no win situation right there, obviously. And who would have thought, like, firing your general manager 5 weeks before the draft? It's crazy that has consequences. Well, if it isn't the actions of my consequences.
Yeah. Hate when that happens.
And then did you like hear, or at least hear of the Mike Babcock story? And it's like there's always so many shitty things he's done, and there was another thing where, like, if the Leafs had fired Mike Babcock instead of being like, oh, he coached a very good Game 5, would there have been, like, would the negotiation between Marner and the Leafs Dubas in 2019 have been so bad if Babcock wasn't there? Because there was a thing with Babcock and Marner, like, oh, list the players that are the least hardest working or whatever it was, and then Babcock, went to those players and shit. Like, there's not necessarily a bad relationship, but there's something there where Mitch could hold a grudge to. Like, if Mike Babcock wasn't there, I wonder if Mitch even, wants like that much money, and like if his parents get involved because, oh, my son, didn't get the bonuses from Lou Lamoriello. Mike Babcock treated him like shit sometimes. Like, you just wonder if that even happens, and then does that, ruin Mitch Marner's reputation? Because fans are pissed right now. Like, it's a crazy situation.
Yeah, and they have no one to blame but themselves for that, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
0 people to blame but themselves.
I feel we could make, like, I was kind of thinking about the, like, hypothetical trades for Mitch Marner. Like, what would be a good Mitch Marner trade? Like, if you're the Leafs, what would you be looking for? Like, I would think top 4 right-handed defenseman and like a middle 6 forward. No, not like top 6 forward.
Top 6 forward, top 4 defenseman, first round pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you have to assume Marner's extending wherever he gets traded to. So you want more for
Yeah.
that. Like, it's going to sound stupid, but you want something like the Matthew Tkachuk trade.
Yeah. But just the likeliness of that happening, like if Mitch Marner, he could just say, fuck you, no, I'm not waiving, or even if he does, then it's a limited list of teams, and then you know what? Like, there's just no winning that situation. Like, I don't know how you come out of a winning situation with Mitch Marner right now.
Nope. I don't think there is one unless you win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he stays. I think he stays until I see it. I think he's gonna stay there and ride it out, wait it out.
Agreed.
Number 2, Marty Necas. I think he'd be a great fit with the Blackhawks. Obviously, I mean, all the players on this list would be great fits with the Blackhawks. Like Marner would be a good fit with the Hawks, but obviously, it all comes down to like what money do they want and what does Carolina want or any other team who they want for that. But the thing with Necas in Carolina is like he wants to play center, and the Blackhawks could definitely offer him a center role in the organization. But if you play with Bedard, you put him on the wing with Bedard. Fuck, you could even put Necas at center and put Bedard on the wing for a bit, and like those two could just make sweet music together. Necas can get a lot of points, and Bedard can score a lot of goals. And Chicago is one of the teams monitoring his status. So is Columbus, Calgary, Vancouver, Boston, Detroit, Nashville. I think you brought it up. Like Boston could be a fit there if they trade Linus Ullmark for Marty Necas, and I mean all the checks they have, that'd be a perfect fit, really.
Yeah, I think Necas for one of Ullmark or Ehlers is kind of where this trade's going to end up going. I think it makes sense for all sides involved.
And funny enough, that's the next 2 players on the list is Nikolai Ehlers and Linus Ullmark. Nikolai Ehlers, I would obviously love as well. Like just his entire time with Winnipeg, like he just has never gotten the ice time that he deserves, and even in the limited ice time,
2030 and Ehlers is on the trade block.
Yeah, but like he consistently drives like very good numbers and very good results.
Yeah, he's always plays well. His analytics always stand out. Great in transition, and he plays 15 minutes a night for some reason. Makes 0 sense, especially now that Wheeler's gone. But whatever, fine by me. Let's get another skilled person out of the division. It works for me. That works for me.
Yeah. I don't think the Blackhawks would trade for Ehlers, but yeah, out of the division works as well. Yeah, we already talked about Patrick Laine. Number 6 is Ilya Mikheyev. 2 years left at 4.75, 31 points in 78 games. I feel like he didn't score a single goal in the playoffs. Yeah, just 1 goal in the final 61 games of the season, including playoffs. It looks like he had a very good start and just sucked the rest of the year.
Blackhawk.
He'd be a good fit as a Blackhawk. Like he doesn't score that much, but he's a fast skater, a big body, and like just not as good as a goal scorer as you would hope.
Put him with Dickinson. Shutdown line.
That would be a good shutdown line. Mikheyev, Dickinson, and Anderson.
Let's take another cap dump from Vancouver and put him with the other cap dump from Vancouver.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Take one of their draft picks. They don't have a first. I don't think. I think they traded that to.
They can get a third for Mikheyev. They don't get a say in this.
Take a second.
Better yet, take Mackenzie Entwistle.
What can we take from Vancouver? Give us Jonathan Lecaramaki while you're at it.
Jonathan Lecaramaki. He's good now, guys. After a
number 7,
dumb trade or dumb pick.
Number 7, Jake Chychrun.
All right, I want to talk about this one. I think this could be interesting.
Go for it.
Because first of all, like the trade never really did make sense for Ottawa to get Jacob Chychrun. I never thought it did. Especially with how stacked they are on the left.
It kind of just felt like, ooh, shiny prize. Let's go out and get him. Yeah.
And they need right shot defensemen. Part of me has to think like there's a 1-for-1 trade out there that they can find. Defenseman for defenseman. I just don't know where it is. That's
Seth Jones for Jacob Chikrin now.
Jesus. He's gonna play with his uncle finally.
Yeah.
Fulfill your legacy. That trade's out there somewhere. You just got to be smart enough to find it. It's funny. What if Utah tries to trade for him?
That would be.
It took you a second. You're like, that would be.
Yeah, that
good.
was. I'm like, that would be a good. I'm like, oh, they're literally they're the Coyotes. That's how relevant the Coyotes were. I'm like, I forgot they were a team.
But yeah, I'm like trying to go through the names in my head of teams that could trade a right shot defenseman and it be worth everyone's while.
Just trying to like go through all the it's whenever we talk about like there's gotta be a fit out there. It's like that I just like start spinning through all the teams in the NHL in my head. Like, what team has a lot of right-handed shot defensemen?
Calgary.
What about like? I'm pretty sure. Like, what about like Jake Chikrin for I don't know Brendan Carlo?
If Boston gets that, it better be Brandon Carlo plus.
Oh yeah. But I think there was talk around Ottawa and Boston doing a deal anyways, like Chikrin for Ullmark.
Oh my god, if that's actually a trade that happens. Oh, because that's exactly what Boston needs is more help. Yay. Oh, I hate this league. If we want to get crazy, I mean, the Islanders have two pretty good right-handed defensemen. I don't think they're going to part with either of them, but it's
like
worth an ask.
Like Pulak for Chikrin, maybe?
Chikrin, yeah. I think something like that. Nashville seems like a team that would always be in on a player like that, especially getting rid of McDonough's contract.
Yeah. Hi, Stevie.
Who am I missing? Minnesota could be interesting. I don't think they traded right-handed defensemen, but
Minnesota
put Chikrin with Faber, and then Brodin with Spurgeon again. That's a nice top four. That's a nice top four. And then I got Jake Middleton and gives a crap on the 60. Ottawa has no cards here, though. Like, Chikrin can very easily just walk if he wants to.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see which team takes advantage of that. Because it's going to be another Detroit situation. So wherever Chikrin wants to go is probably where he's going to end up.
What if he wants to play for his uncle in Chicago?
Oh my God, let's go!
I think Ottawa could use a slightly used Taylor Radish and like, I don't know.
They need a right-handed defenseman. We'll give him Connor Murphy.
Yeah.
They can have Pickett and Connor Murphy. Get excited.
Fuck, I'd do that. New York Rangers, what about like Jacob Trouba for Chikrin swap? Jacob for Jacob.
Please do. Honestly, please do.
Because like then you just roll. You don't even have to re-sign. I mean, if you can re-sign Lindgren, that's great. But if you can roll like a Chikrin, Fox, and a Miller Schneider top four, you're doing pretty well.
You see it's like Jacob Chikrin gets asked in 2019. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Not in Canada. 5 years later, back in Canada.
Yeah.
Get excited.
What other teams could be in that discussion? What about St. Louis with their crappy contract? I would hate this as a Hawks fan, but like a Colton Parayko for Jacob Chikrin swap. I don't think that would really make sense. I mean, Chikrin would make St. Louis better, but yeah, I don't know why the hell Ottawa could do that. But Parayko does give good leadership, so there's that.
I think there was a rumor that Ottawa needs top six help for some reason. What about Ehlers for Chikrin?
Ooh, I think I did see that one too. That would be a good one too.
Or yeah, I feel like Ehlers makes sense, and then Chikrin would bring tremendous depth to that defense with Morrissey and PR can all them.
Oh yeah. Who else is on the list? I literally just had it pulled up and then now I lost it. So organized. Bum, 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 bum. Number 8, Jacob Markstrom. I would be shocked if if New Jersey didn't make a deal for him, because it sounded like the football was right on the right there, right about to be a touchdown and then intercept,
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, Philip Gustafson. So there's a run on goalies here. It's Markstrom, then there's Philip Gustafson, and then UC Saros at number 10. UC Saros is interesting to me because he's been probably one of the better goalies. I mean, wasn't amazing that he was probably just an average goalie this year, but man, what team could use a UC Saros? Because I feel Markstrom, the New Jersey, just feels like a sure
Los
thing.
Angeles.
Oh yeah, Los Angeles. Yeah, Los Angeles. I mean, they should have traded for Hellebuck last year, but if there's another time to make a trade that makes so much sense, it is Saros to LA, because LA has so much forward depth right now that they could give to Nashville, and then LA just needs a goalie. So
that's Saros for Natchez.
Ooh, that would be a good one too. That's a good
I think, and what's crazy is I think Carolina's got to add a little bit to that, especially if they extend Saros.
Yeah, probably. Because, yeah.
And then you have Saros Kochetkov going forward.
Coochie and the UC Coochie, man. Hell yeah. Number 11, rights to Jake Gensel. Number 12, this is an interesting. Well, it's not that his name was floating around, but Pavel Buchnevich. 1 year left at $5.85 million. Number 13. I'm actually surprised the Blackhawks didn't do this as part of the trade. I'm surprised they didn't take on JG Pajot, because he has 2 years left. He is a center. Granted, $5 million isn't ideal for a guy with 33 points, but I mean, I felt like that would have been kind of the same mold as a Dickinson, an older center who, not crazy offense, but just seems like a pro. He's a guy's guy, and would have been a good fit for the Blackhawks in their locker room and made sense for their cap situation. But
I think
looks like the Islanders are going to try and buy him out.
I'd rather the Hawks take some swings, and if they don't get it, use that as a backup option.
Yeah,
Pajot's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Same with Riley Smith. 1 year left at $5 million, and then number 15 is just one of the St. Louis Blues defensemen, Torrey Krug, Nick Leddy, or Justin Falk.
Which one of our overpaid long-term defensemen would you want? Oh my God, Justin Falk for frickin' Chikrin. Please make my year. Please.
Well, I did say Franco earlier, but yeah.
I don't care. It's worth it if that's what the trade is. And also, Nick Leddy is literally the "Who Want Me" meme. No one. That's
no one.
That's been him since he's been an Islander. Honestly, since he's been a Hawk, his Quinville kicked him out of town too.
Yeah. He's kind of what could have been. He had so much potential, and he just never really reached out. I think he had a couple of good offensive seasons, but yeah. Meh. At least he's got a cup, I guess. Yeah. Mid with a cup ring. Speaking of mid with a cup ring, he actually has multiple cup rings. Now, number 16, also on the St. Louis Blues, Brandon Saad.
Let's fucking go, baby. It's time to bring him back a third time. Please.
The funniest part is it actually wouldn't be the worst thing. 2 years left at $4.5 million. Are you if we take the name Brandon Saad away, are you telling me that would not be a good river?
Please, Davidson, give everyone Stockholm Syndrome, please. Holy shit.
Dude, he had 26 goals last year. That's
I know, he's still good!
Yeah, that's the average Brandon Saad season. He scores 25. He's even hit 30 a couple times, I'm pretty sure.
I take him back. I don't care. I want to see Rose cry. She cried tears of actual joy if Brandon Saad was back on the Hawks.
He would, ironically, be a great fit to come back here. Number
Brandon Saad's
17.
the type of guy who's going to be half retained and go to the Lightning, by the way. And I'm going to cry. Oh, my God.
Oh, my. You are right. That makes too much
okay.
sense. That's
we never talked about this as a Marner match, but like I feel like St. Louis is making a little too much sense the more I think about it.
Ooh.
You give him like a Buchnevich. You give him one of the defense.
Buchnevich and Parayko. Buchnevich and Parayko.
It's not the worst trade. Like, it's not the worst trade in the world. Buchnevich is a multi-time 70-point winger playing with less talent than he would be playing. I don't know, man. Oh. And then you put Thomas with Marner and Kyrou. Oh, baby, that's a fun line.
Oh, I hate that, but it makes too much sense. Yeah,
that's a fun line, man. Or put Marner with Shen. Like I feel like Shen would become a 35-goal scorer again. Oh, that's a name. That's a team I didn't think about. Now I like the idea of a little more, even if it's in our division.
Oh, that makes perfect sense for the Leafs. Like you're never gonna win a Mitch Marner trade, but like. You don't have to get it. Like I don't know if Parayko or Falk are appetizing enough, especially for those contracts. But Buchnevich is, and like if you don't get one of the defensemen, like what about a Jake Neighbors or something? Like if you're trying to get more cost control and a little bit more of elbow grease to your lineup, and that's the way to do it.
Right.
You know that's a great idea for the next episode we do. We should like make up some like hypothetical Mitch Marner trades.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
First one, Mitch Marner for Seth Jones. The trade is
1 for 1. No salary retained.
10.999 times 4 extension.
Actually 10.93 because that was his number with the London Nuts.
10.9316.
It wasn't Matthews like 11.634 or something for his jersey number 2. Yeah. I can't imagine any other regular job.
Next time I get a promotion, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, can I get 8 at the end of all my paychecks? You know, it's my birthday.
Can I have an extra $24 because that'll be my age soon? Can I get an extra $10.17 because that's my birthday?
Can I get an extra $893,000 just because that's my number per year? Like I hate this league, dude. I have no sympathy for these guys.
Does any other sport do that?
Not that I know of.
Could you imagine like Tom Brady doing that?
Guys, when Sidney Crosby did it. Don't care.
He's the only cool, like that's the only.
Yeah, he's the only cool person to do it.
Yeah, for real. Like, it makes so much sense because that's his birthday, and like what people forget when Crosby signed his contract though was a decent chunk of the salary cap, but then obviously hasn't gone up. Like he hasn't changed. Like it makes too much sense. Like it would be if Bedard did 9.8 a year, that would be cool. But when it's in an instant where it's like. You're already getting probably more money than what you should. It's like, can I just have an extra like $834,000? That will make it complete. I think that's when it becomes to be uncool. Number 17, Morgan Frost. Number 18, David Savard. Number 19, Arthur Kaliev. I still think that's like another interesting player that the Blackhawks should look at. Number 20, we talked about Elvis Merzlikins. Number 21, Capo Caco already got his qualifying offer of 2.4, and I just, oh man, I don't. Oh yeah, speaking of jersey numbers, I think the ship has sailed on Caco. I don't know if there's anything there with him, like
guys, but they had the better pick in the draft. Jack Hughes is a bust. That's like one of the funniest rivalries I think I've seen. Like, it's like kids. You're both just. Awful.
Are we talking about the Rangers and Blackhawks?
No, Rangers and Devils, bro.
Because I was gonna say like Jack, like it's like that scene with I forget what it is. It's like I don't think of you at all. Like that's Devils fans right now. Like I feel bad. Like Rangers fans, I feel bad for you. Devils fans, I don't think of you at all because Jack Hughes has been amazing.
Yeah, Jack Hughes is fucking amazing.
Number 22. This is an interesting one. Andrew Mangiapane. Like. Had that one great season, and then it just seems like he hasn't hit that And that also happened to be the summer where they lost Gaudreau and Kachuk. So, wonder why. Number 23, Kristen Dvorak, and then the one right below that, I could not help but laugh when I looked at it. Darnell Nurse. Who? Okay, what would you take on? Like, what would the Oilers need to add for you to take on Darnell Nurse? Like, where would we start?
I don't even
like.
know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'd have to be 2 first-round picks minimum.
Throw me in Evan Bouchard, and we'll think about it. And like, we'll start there, and then we'll add. The
contract's immovable. It's going to end in a buyout.
Mm-hmm. Number 25, Trevor Zegras. Again, that's another player the Hawks should be looking at. And that's the end of the list. That's the end of the top 25 trade targets. Who do you were kind of the most intriguing of the names? Like, who do you think would be the best fits for the Blackhawks? Like, what were the names that stood out to you?
I think
or it could even just be in general. Sorry?
Realistically, Mikheyev really did stand out. That seems like a Davidson type of move. In terms of players I would like, I think the only way I see them getting Natchez is like the Doc trade. It's going to have to be some kind of 3-way maneuvering, but I think Natchez would be perfect in the Hawks for what they need.
Yeah.
Be exactly the kind of winger you want. It'd give you the flexibility to go get left shooting off, and you basically add 2 studs to the team. I mean, if he wasn't in division, I'd say Ehlers. I think he'd be perfect too.
I would fucking love Ehlers.
I know the Hawks even sniffed around Ehlers. Like, it's clear the Hawks don't give a shit if you're in the division. They sniffed around Nichushkin too.
Good.
So, like,
good. As it should be.
I don't know. Who's the other name I'm thinking of? I feel like there's a couple names out there that we're just not hearing right now, and we won't know until teams need to start moving salary. But those are the main names that stick out to me, at least. I think Merzlikins is also a dark horse, just as someone the Hawks can maybe take a flyer on. Be interesting. I'd love Chikrit too. I just don't think that trade makes sense for either side.
No.
Ottawa's not getting fleeced again by the Hawks. It's not happening.
No. Like, unless, like, Ottawa's just like, we need to get rid of him, and then Chicago's like, I can give you a bag of like magic beans of a bunch of left-handed defense we have. Here's Nolan Allen. Here's Ethan.
Please take him, please.
That's like our version of what was the Leafs, where it was like Bracco Nilsson in a second. Like, that's our new version. It's like Radish Murphy in a second.
Dude, it's nothing against Radish. Just get the hell off my top 6. Like, oh my god. 2 years was 2 years too many.
Yeah, if they can somehow get like Necas and Gensel from Carolina, that might be the ideal scenario there. You just get 2 high-end
Gensel too.
Forwards.
How about him? Shit. Yeah, I'd take Gensel in a heartbeat. I don't care about the age. As long as the contract isn't 7 years, which it probably would be. So that would be an issue. But, I mean, if you can get Gensel for 5 years at like 9.5, dude, I'm taking it. I don't care.
Bro, I would do 6 years at $10 million. I don't even care. Like, because it lines up with Alex Vlasic and Seth Jones contracts. And those are the only contracts you have long-term right now. Like, you're going to have Bedard soon. Like, who else?
Korchinski's not asking for $8 million on his next deal unless he drops 50 points next year.
And if he does, oh no!
Awesome! Like let's go.
Yeah.
That's why you saved this cap space. Frank Nazar's not getting $9 million on his next contract.
No.
Might get 6? Probably not. Like, it's okay to be semi-pessimistic with your prospects. You can't. It's okay for all of them to not be gangbusters right out the chute. Like, and that's why you get guys like that.
Well, yeah, you need like. I get Davidson doesn't want to stray off too far of like giving out big time contracts, but I feel that kind of goes out the window when you have Connor Bedard, like, yeah, you're not going to just be spending with reckless abandon free agency, but if you can get a winger for Bedard of that caliber of Jake Gensel, a guy he's been so consistently good. Like, he's almost money in the bank to be a 35, 40 goal scorer and like be around point per game. Like, how often will you be able to like trade for that caliber of players like UFA rights and then sign them, you know?
Yep. It doesn't happen often, and it's something you gotta capitalize on.
And like, yeah, there might be free agents and other years that might be a more appealing, but like this is right now. Like it's the same argument with maybe like Moore and Nazar have great seasons, then you gotta sign a longer trial. Like that's down the road. Yeah. Like
damn it, guys, our first round picks are good. I hate this. God. Like these aren't real problems, dude. Like this is insane. Mm-hmm. The fact that people are already looking 4 years down the line, like, oh my god, this contract's gonna screw us. I get it. We came from an era where Bowman had to basically pick from the bottom of the barrel because of his cap management. That's not going to happen again.
No.
And if it does, womp womp, that probably means they're pretty good.
Yeah. That's another thing. They have all these draft picks that and that's the thing about spreading the draft picks out too, like not having all your young prospects like having to sign contract that like you spread it out a little bit. Yeah, there's going to be a year where like Korchinski's need a contract, or I don't know exactly how it all works out. There's going to be a year where Moore needs a contract, but that's why you spread the draft picks out. You still have all those first and seconds in the upcoming years because you're going to need guys on ELCs when those contracts come up over the year, or like when these players sign these big contracts over the years.
Yep. 100%. And also, I can't help but get excited if our power play has Patrick Laine and Connor Bedard on both circles. Like, just who are you shadowing to? Shadow towards Laine. Perfect. Oh, you're gonna shadow Bedard? Okay, Bedard's gonna find that pass to Laine every time. So have fun with that. And then just throw some oof in front of the net, and we're good. Go get Bedard just put in front of the net. We're cooking.
I'm sorry, but Bedard and Laine would be so fun together. I know there's like maybe the thought of, they're both goal scorers, like they can't be on the same level. I don't know, man. Bedard has some good play. Laine has good playmaking too. We were going over his stats earlier. Like, yeah, maybe he isn't scoring at a 50, but like he's producing offense. I would at least, if they get Laine, I would at least like to see them try both of them together. That'd be so much fun. I mean, probably not great defensively.
40 goal scorers on the line easily if they're healthy.
One of them will get there.
Facts.
And then you just let Kershav do all the dirty work.
Yeah, Kershav should just be grateful he's on the top line.
Yeah.
Literally, Connor Bedard just made that guy at least $10 million. Like, that's not getting talked about enough. Like, Kershaw's next contract starting with probably a 4 because of Bedard. And good for him, honestly.
Yeah.
He took tremendous strides.
Yeah, it's one of those again, a good problem. It's like, oh no, we got to pay this guy because he's getting a lot of points. But then there's also the discussion of, he's playing with Bedard. Do we maybe move on? I don't know. That's a later problem that we don't have to deal with right now.
Hey, that's where you put him on his own line next year and see if he can do it on his own. I think that's the easiest solution to that. It's like, all right, we're gonna put you with like Nazar and all that. Do it on your
all right, hot shot. You think he can get all these points? Try it without Bedard.
Make Reichel good. Do what you did 2 years ago for like 20 games again.
Yeah, talk about like your prospects aren't always going to pan out to the way you think they are.
Yep. And we can go farther back. Doc, Boquist. Sorry, these guys aren't going to be superstars day one. If they are, awesome. I'm ecstatic. I think over the years, I've grown to be more patient with these guys. Just because there's freaking 21-year-olds most of the time.
Yeah, like Vlasic, like he's turned 23, and like that's when he finally broke out in the NHL. It takes time. Lexi Lafreniere, I think, was 22 when he had his breakout this year, and he was the former first overall pick. It takes time. Again, it's a fine balancing. Yeah, that's a good example too. Same draft, and that's another thing with COVID and everything. Like all these players that were drafted in the last few years, they like missed a year of development pretty much at a time where it's so pivotal for development. Got to give time, but then also it's a fine balancing act. Like if they're not working out, then you can only give them so much rope. So
That's why if I'm Columbus, I want young pieces because like I can't imagine Sillinger's going to keep regressing. I can't imagine Ken Johnson's going to become stagnant. And if they do, that's on your effing organization for who you hire. Period. Like I don't. Their last 3 head coaches, and I'm including Babcock in this mix, have made me shake my head. It's whatever.
Do you want to get into the one Twitter question we have?
Yes.
So this is from Drew at Chi-Town Drew 23. What would be the most shocked player to be pick at number 2?
I want you to go first because I have a name in mind.
Okay, I think they're going Lev Shunov. I'd be because for everything I'm hearing, it sounds like Demidov is just basically gonna he's gonna fall like Michkov did. I think they go Lev Shunov. Who knows? Maybe I think they're supposed to go visit Demidov in Florida soon. Maybe that goes well and that changes their opinion. But from everything I've seen, I think they're going Lev Shunov. Honestly, at this point, I feel Silyayev is a better shot. Like he has a better chance of being drafted by the Hawks than Demidov. But I think those surprise to me. Like I'd be shocked if they went for Lindstrom. Because those are the 4 players that they've talked about being a possibility. Like, yeah, you could like pick a guy and be like, oh, Beckett Seneke, he's gonna go 2nd overall. Like, that's not realistic. Like, I'm just going within the players that the Blackhawks have been linked to. At this point, I'd probably say Cam Lindstrom, honestly.
I have 2 forward and defensemen. I think TJ Ginla would be the surprise at forward. His stock's gone up a very big amount, and if they see something they like in him, I can see it. And then the one that I've even heard the Hawks get linked to his name is Sam Dickinson. I think that could be a dark horse at number 2. So those are my 2
I also
picks.
wonder about someone like Z Boyum. Like that could be another guy.
Don't take him 2nd. Good fucking Lord. Trade down if you want him. He will be there at 8. Ugh. Cannot stand when like someone it's like the Kakaniemi shit all over again. Like just and what's great is like your off the board picks, I'm cool with. Like these off the board picks, I don't think I'm okay with. I could probably stomach Dickinson, but taking Teach 2nd, I think is fine.
I don't think they're gonna do that though. Like I think they're just going Lev Shunov.
You're gonna take the 8th pick.
And like
John Klingberg.
But see, they like switch it around and like they pick the forward and then they go Demidov and then they pick a defense and like I would be fine with them because there's gonna be a defenseman that fall because then if the Blackhawks go Demidov, then maybe Columbus and Montreal will be like, oh, we gotta take Lindstrom and Iginla, or even Catton's up there, and then you have a defenseman fall. Like I think the Blackhawks are still set up for a good class, especially if they're able to move up into like the top 12. Like if you could get like a Demidov, I don't know if I'm not sure about Yakimchuk because I feel he has the profile to go potentially even in the top 5, but then he could also fall. Like, or even like Zane Perrick, just him being a smaller defenseman. If you could get like Demidov and Perrick, that would be the dream. Like move up and get Perrick. There's still so much that could happen. I don't even like. I think they will go Lev Shunov, but then there's the possibility that they don't. So I don't know. I guess we're gonna find all this out in less than 2 weeks.
Lev Shunov, Branson Nygaard, Demidov, Yakimchuk. Even though I think Yakimchuk's gonna go top 10, just because his stock is the way scouts and execs are talking about him. I can't see him getting out of the top 10. And he fits the bill of everything you want in a right-handed defenseman, and he's arguably better defensively than most of these guys. It's a deep defensive class, man. I don't know. Like the Hawks could go double defense for all I know.
Yeah.
Like they could web stream off EJ Henry type thing.
That would be like another wild card for me is Berkeley Catton. I've said this like.
Oh,
just looking at his statistical profile, like I don't think they're not going to take him at 2, but like he to me is interesting because I could see him going as high as like top 5. Like I could see I could even see Columbus taking. Even Anaheim could take him for all like that. I don't think the Blackhawks pick him at 2, but then there's also him. Oh, he's not 6 feet tall. Your height doesn't start with a 6. Like he might fall. Like I feel he could go anywhere between 5 and 15, and if he falls. Good Lord, Davidson has to move up, and he would Yay is another smaller center, but who gives a fuck? Like this is point production is up there with some of like it's up there with Connor Bedard in terms of draft year eligible production. Like you don't care about the size he skates well. Like he almost seems like a higher end like Oliver Moore like kind of player. Like if he falls, you 100% have to move up and get him.
Yeah, I mean the Devils are not going to be a match for moving up unless I want Connor Murphy. But but
hey, hear me out.
Get to that 10, 11, 12 range, definitely. Cash in.
Hear me out. Peter Mrazek to New Jersey.
No, we didn't have a goalie then. That's a problem. We just got one again for the first time in like 3 years. And we're going to throw him away right after he signs an extension. Dude, that'd be such a bad luck, too. Oh, my God. Hey, guys, you know these extensions you signed? You're getting fucking moved immediately after.
You're done. You're gone.
You're done, bud. You're done. Okay? You're done.
Log off for me.
But, yeah, I'm excited for the draft, man. I was talking about it all weekend with my coworkers because now it's starting to set in that it's close. And I'm just like,
it's less than 2 weeks.
I want the first domino to fall so bad. Like, just let the first trade happen. And I know it's not going to happen until the cup final ends, but like, just let it happen. Call me Tame Impala. Let it happen.
Yeah, I think my flight, like, I'm gone in 10 days. So
let's go.
That's crazy. Let's go.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the best part yet.
What?
The Boys season 4.
Oh, I thought you were talking. We're gonna move on now. Fuck yeah, let's talk about the boys.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'll let you go first.
I love how no. First of all, I want to state to the audience that Pierce wanted to wait till Vegas, and he watched it before I did. Even. Yeah, I didn't even watch it Thursday night. I had to wait till Saturday.
Guilty. So, no, I watched it with my brother.
So good, like.
But there is an episode that comes out because it's every Thursday. Like I think they're doing it until mid-July, where we'll be able to watch one together. I think episode 5 together. So hey, we'll do that.
Certainly, the last time there was an episode 5, it wasn't really good. HeroCasm.
Certainly, we didn't watch an episode at the draft as well. That's not
certainly I didn't show Pierce the boys by showing him the season 3 finale.
I remember watching that. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, that was
you watch it a second time, and you're like, oh.
It's the Danny DeVito. Oh, I get it now,
dude.
Because that was such a whirlwind of a day, and then to end the day off with that, I'm like, oh fuck.
I literally remember because it was after the DeBrincat trade. I looked at you dead in the face, and I was like, "We're watching this when we get home tonight. I need some form of happiness."
Yeah.
And luckily, they had a good night at the draft, and the episode was freaking bonkers.
So all ended well.
But season 4 has been great so far. I think the plot lines that they're setting in place I don't know who's making it out of this season. Like, I think Newman might get canned, Busher might get canned. I think the big one is that Ryan's going to get canned, and that's really going to set everything off. Like we're not even talking about that Huey's got the same shit that Butcher has. So like. This is going to get nuts. Oh, my God. Homelander's going gray. I love Sister Sage. I love her addition as a character. Basically fucking got Homelander on a leash. It's so funny.
For real.
Oh, my God.
I was talking about with my manager of like, it's crazy how that whole cast is just so good looking and like all the characters are like memorable in their own ways. But for me, I love all the characters, but like the ones that always stand out to me that I just always laugh at, to me, it's Ashley and the Deep, and the interaction they've had have been amazing. Like,
I'm the peak of evolution.
Like we'll dive right into it, but yeah, like the amount of like everyone just agreeing with Homelander, and then Homelander be like, "Hey, go blow A-Train, suck his cock." And then him just going up and being like, sex is a spectrum, right, bro? And then after they're done, he's just... And then Ashley's facial reactions to everything are golden. And she was like, she was so into it. And then after when I was done in Homelander leaves, he's like, God, like, all you are fucking sycophants. You like, oh, you agree with me. And then the Deep's like, I wasn't actually going to do it, bro. Also, A-Train's character arc has been interesting.
Oh, he's had it. Redemption.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like the pieces were set in place for that when the whole Blue Hawk thing happened last season.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's really starting to come to fruition. But like, dude, the fucking scene in episode 1 where it's like Todd and them in the room.
Oh my god! And
what? I'm watching that at work, dude, right? It's the end of the workday before I go to work. So I'm just sitting on my iPad and I was talking to Jalen about it, who's my coworker. And I was just like, yeah, I've gotten like halfway through the first episode. It's been pretty crazy so far. He leaves for 5 minutes and that's the scene I watch. He comes back. My eyes are just like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, I just got like jump scared by the Negan lineup again in the boys. Like, oh my god. And it was Todd too. Like, what the fuck? I didn't think they were gonna kill him.
So like there's objectively there's crazier scenes in the next couple episodes, but that one shook me so much.
The
like
shock value
I'm basically how I was right now. Like I was laughing so hard. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Black Noir's reaction's so real. He's like, what the fuck just happened, guys? Does he make us do this all the time?
Like I love because there's a scene with Homelander where he tells the girl to jump off, where he's like, at first he's like nice, you think he's gonna help him out, and then it just gets worse and worse, and then just that whole scene, how it unfolded, him like coming out and be like, thank you, like thanking them. He's like, you got, and you can tell when he's like, you guys are more than supporters, you're martyrs, and then you could just see the look on their faces. It's like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen? And then they get him to pull the bats out of the bag, and then they just fucking, oh my god,
insane.
dude,
it's insane.
And just the way the Deep and the Black Noir like had like no, except for the Deep being like, wait, this isn't another one of your tests, is it? And they both just beat the other guys up to beat them to a bloody pulp. And then A-Train's like, man, sir, I gotta do this. Like zooms right in front of its Todd, and then just right from behind Black Noir, right. Oh, like, yeah, there's objectively crazier scenes, but I don't think anything shook me more than that. Like that was so fucking.
The shock
and I'm like, why?
That was nuts.
Yeah, and I was like, why did they do that? And then like finally I put two and two together. Yeah, like no shit, they're framing them. Like it's perfect for that.
Oh, it's such a cool angle that they're doing this season. Like they're making Starlight look like a terrible fucking person because of this. And like Starlight's coming to grips with like she has to be a symbol, even though she doesn't want to be a symbol. Like I love that plot line. Huey's going through a mental circus right now with his family. Freaking Frenchie's, having his bi awakening in the show. Awesome.
I made the boys woke. He is gay. I am not watching.
I kind of lost him when he was French, but it's okay. But Kamiko, I love Kamiko's arc this year with like her going to therapy and like basically like coming to terms with her past. The new characters I think are super interesting with the way Firecracker is like tied into Starlight. I think that's super cool because like Starlight's past just continues to haunt her and like taking like blatant jabs as soon as she gets into the 7. Like it's nuts. Like I said, I think Sister Sage is one of my favorites this season because like I don't know where her character is going to take this because I feel like at some point Homelander's just going to get super pissed that he's not calling the shots again. Because every season he seems to do this. Now that I think about it, first season it was the blonde chick with mommy issues and Gus, and then the second season it was the Nazi. Third season it's his dad.
Stormfront. Oh my god, Firecracker is just like millennial or Gen Z Stormfront.
And then I know Firecracker and Homelander are gonna have some crazy ass scene later.
Oh,
I love Butcher and Ryan's arc in this. This is fucking great.
Yeah.
I love that. Butcher's like basically showing his real self through Ryan. Because he's the only person he can like that whole dynamic I think is super good. Because like it's the only thing holding that because like Ryan clearly doesn't want to be like his dad, but it's just like he's gonna turn into it if he likes it or not. Like just by the the situation he's been placed in. Also like Victoria Newman's kid or whatever just being like Snake Woman.
Zoe.
Shit's crazy.
Bring fucking Medusa, yeah.
Also, one of the coldest scenes is literally fucking Huey sweating in the vent, and Homelander just was like, I can fucking smell it. Just freaking laser beams, and then like the ice people just started killing each other because it's like what you're surprised how often that doesn't happen in hockey. with the amount of times like skates go up, and then it's just like in the boys, everyone's getting slit. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I didn't have many expectations going into season 4 because like it's been a couple years and like I haven't really been like keeping up with it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what I I wanted to expect either, because honestly, like, because I binge watched it like summer 2022, and like I think I watched a bit of it last year, but like I'm gonna try to like brush up on it. I never got to doing that. I mean, surprise, me not catching up with TV shows, even though I already watched it, but, yeah, but like I came in, like I watched the recap. I'm like, okay, I briefly remember, and like the first bit of episode 1 was cool. I'm like, okay, like that. This just seems like regular boys. And then when it got to the scene of them killing, I'm just like, oh fuck, here we are. Like,
also, where are the Gen V people? That's like, where is? I forget her name, but the chick with the blood powers. We need her to meet up with the boys. I also love that Mother's Milk's like the captain of the team now.
Yeah,
freaking Laz Alonso, who, dude, the average media consumer's mind is ridiculous. Apparently, people thought that Laz Alonso got recasted as Mother's Milk.
Oh, the same people
like,
with
you would just shave your beard and lose weight. Like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, and it's with I forget what her actress's name is, but any Starlight.
Erin Moriarty.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for her, dude. It's fucking stupid the amount of backlash she gets for just doing what she wants to do with her body. It's crazy. And she's still hot, dude. People act like she's not hot. Like, what are you talking about?
Show has gone woke, and the girls don't even look anymore. What's the point? I'm gonna watch Soldier Boy based compilation.
Yeah, where's Daddy too? I need Soldier Boy to show up.
For real.
I need
you made those words
I need
up.
Big Zaddy to come out of his cryogenic chamber and fucking start, dude. Soldier Boy meeting Sister Sage. I need that interaction at some point. I think that would just be fucking wild. Sister Sage like fucking the Deep. I think is very funny.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
So like, random.
I need that to be a thing because I can't remember if it was my sister or my brother, because I watched it both with them. I watched it the day it came out with my brother, and then I watched it last night with my sister again. But I can't remember who said it, but one of them said that like, Sage is trying to get with the Deep because he was in the crime Alex, like, so he's gonna try to do that to help out Homelander. I'm like, no, I think she's gonna like grow resentment for Homelander and try to get with the Deep and like team up against him. That's what I think is gonna happen, and that's what
she's too smart for Homelander. That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's why her character intrigues me the most. Like, you know what? Her and Victoria, like their interactions, I think are gonna be super interesting because Victoria is very calculated. She's very smart.
And they're girl bosses.
Super fucking calculated. So like that's gonna be interesting. Also, like the fact that Victoria Nguyen just like shook off acid twice, and she's like, "Now I'm gonna change my shirt, asshole."
Oh fuck! I'm gonna change my clothes. Yeah,
because like it's always crazy to forget that like she could just blow people's heads up if she wanted to. Like it's like, oh, it's such a crazy, and like her whole backstory from Gen V now is like starting to leak in a little bit. Like, oh, it's all coming together, baby. And they set the end season on 5 seasons, which is what I was worried about. I thought they were gonna go farther than 5. 5 is the perfect cutoff because I know I have a rough idea of where I think it's going to go, but also they have deterred so far from the comics that like it's going to be something completely different, and I'm kind of pumped to see what it is.
Also shout out to Sage for making the Nancy Reagan in the MGM parking lot reference.
So funny, dude. Also shout out her for relating to racist robots in Transformers 2. People don't forget.
It's I mean, especially now, it's so perfect timing with the season 4 coming out with everything that's been happening in the world. Like it's kind of crazy how like perfectly timed everything is.
I can't wait for Thursday. I'm so ready to watch the episode.
Bro, I can't wait to freaking watch it with you in Vegas. That's gonna be so much fun.
Right, dude? Like I hope they leave us on like the nuttiest cliffhanger going into episode 5. So we're just sitting there like, all right, back for the draft. Let's go.
Yeah. Ashley, Sage, and the Deep had a 3-way. All right. Let's wrap this up then. Yeah. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day to Jason Dickinson. Austin Matthews
Hell
should
yeah.
fucking told you
Better
that
than
before.
Austin Matthews. You're so right.
Austin Matthews.
For real. Like, the only person that's better than Jason Dick and your son is the probable cause.
He's literally the second best defensive center according to Rono.
I mean, it fits the narrative. That's all that matters. So
Exactly.
Alrighty, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Give us a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform. If you're watching our beautiful faces on YouTube, don't forget to smash that like button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content. We're almost at the draft, almost at the off season. Like, we're gonna podcast next week. That'll be a nice, fun one to do because we will be doing probably a mock draft. We'll come up with some trades we want to see in the off season and even some hypothetical Mitch Marner trades. The season will probably be over by then. And we'll might even have some trade news or signing news. So, yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we will talk next week. Peace out, y'all.